Ukrainian pilot Oleksandr Borovik, a pilot of a Su-27 fighter jet, was killed while performing a combat mission in Zaporizhzhia. This was reported by the press service of the 39th Tactical Aviation Brigade. On September 11th, at about 13:30, an airplane piloted by 30-year-old Major Oleksandr Borovik crashed under unknown circumstances. The brigade reported that the aircraft was performing a combat mission in the Zaporizhzhia sector. The cause of the Su-27's crash is currently under investigation. During the Russian-Ukrainian War, the members of the 39th Brigade were actively used to strike Russian air defense systems with anti-radar missiles, as well as to carry high-precision JDAM, AASM, and GBU-39 bombs. At the same time, they continue to be involved in air defense during Russian missile and drone attacks in the depths of Ukraine. This is the second loss of a Ukrainian Su-27 this year. In April, another fighter jet crashed while repelling an air attack by enemy strike drones. The pilot successfully ejected. Meanwhile, in Lobnya, near Moscow, some warehouses are on fire. Probably someone smoked in the wrong place again. Alongside drone and missile strikes, Ukrainian guerrilla groups inside Russia are increasingly setting fire to strategic targets such as factories, fuel depots, and railway hubs. These sabotage acts spread fear, stretch Russian security forces, and disrupt critical supply lines far from the front. By combining covert operations with long-range strikes, Ukraine keeps pressure on Moscow's war machine from multiple directions. A school in Russian-occupied Donetsk has been renamed after an American who died fighting for Russia in Ukraine. Michael Gloss, the son of a senior CIA official, died in Ukraine after he went backpacking and ended up in Russia, where he joined the army intending to defeat the military-industrial complex. He identified variously with communist, Islamic, and environmental causes. Donetsk City's school number, 115, has been renamed after Gloss, who died near Soledar on the 4th of April 2024 during a Russian assault operation, and Ivan Kokovin, a Russian corporal who served as a stormtrooper in the same operation. Airborne Forces Commander Mikhail Teplinsky says that Gloss fought near Chasiv Yar, liberated Donbass, participated in assault operations, and was a worthy warrior. The ceremony was also attended by the Moscow-appointed head of the Donetsk People's Republic, Denis Pushilin. Heroism is something inside. Michael Alexander Gloss was able to understand from faraway America what is happening here, and he took his position, chose and absolutely clearly decided to fight against Nazism, neo-Nazism, Pushilin said. As well as formally naming the school after Gloss and Kovovin, a plaque was unveiled on a wall dedicating the school in their memories. Many schools have installed permanent memorials, often in individual classrooms, to Russian soldiers who have died in the Ukraine war. Gloss and Kokovin were both posthumously made Knights of the Order of Courage. In August 2024, Putin gave the medal to Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff to pass on to Gloss's mother. Russia is lagging far behind Ukraine in the production and use of drones, according to a commander of the Chechen Akhmat unit. He provides a lengthy critique of Russian efforts and an explanation of how Ukrainian drone tactics are impacting Russia's attempts to advance. The man, who uses the call sign Hades, says that it's a huge mistake to underestimate Ukraine and cites his experiences of the faltering Russian campaign in the Sumy region on the border of northeastern Ukraine. Here the enemy began to use the same tactics of using UAVs. Yes, we have an advantage in missiles, and they also have an advantage in missiles. But while we hit precisely somewhere, they rain down anywhere they want. HIMARS do not spare anything, even barrel artillery. They flew into the dugouts, even in the plantations. With missiles, maybe we have the advantage. Aviation, we have the advantage with that. We have the advantage with long-range strike drones. But we have no advantage in short-range drones, including fiber optic. Although we were the first to use them, we developed them. The enemy caught up with us very quickly and even overtook us in terms of numbers. Indeed, the quantity is insane. To give you an example, just one of my positions took 87 hits, if I'm not mistaken. All drones. Of those, about 30 were fiber optic. Hades cites the millions of drones being produced all over Ukraine, a figure which Russia does not come close to equaling. Yes, they use them on a huge scale, because they have erected a cult. It is really a cult of money, a cult. Any TV program, any film, any interview, frame, QR code is focused on drones. The armed forces assemble them. Civilians assemble them. Even children in ordinary clubs collect drones. They leave links to buy them. They collect spare parts. And it works in terms of the fact that their scale is quite different from ours. The second point is the efficiency of drone use. We use them in a simple way with ground control stations and directional antennas. The enemy has gone much further. In addition to a fairly unique ground control station with the ability to switch video frequencies, up to 4. They use a system of aerial repeaters. They have a long system. There's an aerial repeater in the sky that provides a signal. That is, it flies and switches between repeaters. If one drops out in its place, another one immediately replaces it. Hence the flight range, preservation of the picture, and the impossibility of jamming it normally with electronic warfare. How to counter this? Only by means of air defense radar stations to shoot down these aerial repeaters, including the mothership. It acts both as a carrier and as a repeater. Hence the strikes on the far rear. We must fight this. We must develop our response. We have not been very successful in this yet. We are only just beginning to develop it, to fight in our own ways. Individual units, such as the Nomads unit, like the 45th Special Forces Brigade, we have at least begun to use radar stations to shoot down the enemy's wings. So there's a few other units out there. The rest are still lagging behind. I mean, the lack of this unified network system, it's hindering us a lot. The Glukovsky district in the Kursk region is a typical rehearsal of battlefield isolation. The enemy is rehearsing. He realizes that with the help of drones, he can really isolate the battlefield. Therefore, this must be countered. Even yesterday, it was necessary to fight it, which is what we are trying to do now. UAVs are the future of war. This is really the future. The god of war, artillery, it will not be able to completely replace. And this depends on the scale. You can rain shells chaotically, 2 or 3 will hit, or you can pour 150 drones at one forest position and the effect will be much better. The position will be a dead zone. Plus, they have a very tight interaction going on between UAV units and assault units. So any attacking unit can request assistance. And if you've even observed a fight where there's an attacking unit, it requests help, a drone flies up. It appears from behind him, strikes, and he goes to clean up. So it's all working in perfect synergy there. So there are unmanned attack drones, you can call them that, even individual units. They practice with ground drones and even use them. For us, this is also still terra incognita. We are just beginning to develop it. They are even already testing robot dogs, at least at night, albeit ridiculously so far. Before in 2018, people posted ridiculous emojis when the rebels attacked the Hamaim base in Syria with drones. 6 years later, we have what we have. So it is necessary to develop in this direction in terms of countering drones and UAVs and their development. This should have been done yesterday. Now we have to run to stay in place. We have to run, or rather stand still. We have to run now that we are lagging behind. Something to learn from the enemy. It is right to learn from the enemy. His methods, his techniques, his management systems. So we know the right way. We have to develop that. U.S. Vice President stated that the Russians want to gain around 6,000 square kilometers of Ukrainian territory that they have not seized by force, while Ukrainians seek security guarantees. Also, according to Vance, Trump aims to end the war by applying pressure on both Russia and Ukraine.
I think now we're at a point where we've at least narrowed it to a couple of core issues. One issue is territorial. The Russians want about about 6,000 or so square kilometers that they have not yet conquered through military force. That's what the Russians want. The Ukrainians, on the flip side, they want a security guarantee, whether from the Europeans or somebody else, because they want confidence that if they cut a deal, the Russians aren't going to come back in a few months or a few years asking for more.
I do want to get to that conflict between Russia and Ukraine. What do you see as the administration's plan to bring that war to an end?
Well, I think fundamentally, Matt, we're trying to sort of apply leverage to both the Russians and the Ukrainians to try to come to the table and make a deal.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Every day. We had a guy last week at 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.